Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life as a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. It's really been, sadly, a slow last couple of weeks. I was debating on what to discuss in this clip or episode of mine, but I do think I wanted to share an anecdotal experience that recently I was made aware of. So obviously, I have my day-to-day life outside of this YouTube realm, and I have shared some of my anecdotal experiences with regards to marriage, people that I have seen and known, which quite frankly, everybody has. I'm not the only person who has witnessed these things, but I would say that not everybody is directly involved first person wise, like, right there within the household. I saw it with my dad. I've seen it with my mom. I really hate to admit it, but it is the truth. Honestly, I would have been fucked if it was not for one, for the support of my father, but two, for the unwavering support and successful marriage of my grandparents. But for every one of those, you have five others that fail miserably. And there's this guy that I know who's in his 60s. I used to supervise him, and this guy is an awesome guy. He used to work in IT. He worked for HP, Hewlett Packard, if you guys don't know what that stands for. And this guy has his quirks like everybody does. Everybody. I mean, I know I do as well. And well, just very blunt about it, his quirk was that he definitely blabbers at the mouth quite a bit. He talks a lot. And I remember when I first got to know him, when I was around him, he had this uncanny ability to bring the conversation, no matter what the fuck we were talking about, bring it back to his wife. How he did this with his wife, how he did that with his wife. His wife does this, his wife does that, this and that. And on a certain level, there was, for lack of a better term, a cuteness about it. Not, not in like that sort of way, but just like in a way where it's like, man, this guy, how sweet, how sweet that this guy feels this way towards his wife and about being a husband. But as that went on, of course, it kind of got annoying, and I knew, having the red pill mind that I have and the truth-seeking mindset that I have, I knew that if if what I saw from him was any evidence of how he is in the rest of his life, that was going to get old quick. You guys all know, or anybody who is involved with the red pill or seeking knowledge and truth, especially when it comes to intersexual, interpersonal dynamics, knows that there's the whole idea of bad boys getting all the girls, and girls, watching what girls do, not what they say, because their actions say it all. And what their actions say is that they do find bad boys to be sexually appealing, and almost to an unhealthy degree. And but for me personally, I knew that regardless of the truth of that or untruth of that, that there is a limit to which one can be given that sort of stuff and not be totally and utterly turned off by it. And what I mean by that is a woman, there's a certain element of it at the beginning that is kind of like my reaction where it's like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's sweet. That's cute. Oh, what a nice guy. But then it gets to a point where it's like, oh, fuck, this again? This again? You got to be kidding me. This fucking guy. Damn, I fucking kick him in his balls and he still won't shut the fuck up about me. And I knew that his relationship was in trouble because if what he was presenting to me was any evidence of what was really going on, that relationship was heading towards disaster because at the basis of it, women want the guy that they're with to be a fucking man, to be masculine, and for them to be the, they are who they are with or without the woman. You know, whether she's there or not there, he still is going to be the beast that he still is. And he's still going to be ambitious, driven, a desire for success. And I would say probably after World War II, we started to see this development of men needing women, and of course with the rise of feminism and that's just Jim Bob. He can't fucking pick up his own clothes. He can't make a sandwich for himself. Oh, Jim Bob, what a goofball, what a dork. I mean, we see the trope all the time with commercials where they display the man to be this total buffoon idiot that would be completely useless without his woman. And so at the end of the day, like I said, I knew that it was likely, there was a good chance that it was not going to end well. And suffice it to say, I also, what you should know is that this guy is a Christian. He's probably about 5'11", 6 foot. At least when he was younger, he was probably a good solid 6 foot. He's not the most handsome guy in the world by any means, but I wouldn't say he's the ugliest guy in the world either. He's probably average to maybe slightly below average, but then again, he is above average height, and for long period of his life, this guy made really solid money. He was in IT, especially when it was really just getting started, the 80s and the 90s, early 2000s, and was making, I guarantee he was making really, really good money. In fact, I know based off of what he told me, I know he was. I mean, he was able to essentially afford his own two-story house in a really nice area. Uh, so I know he was making good money. Now, he did end up being um what's the word? He did end up being, I don't think he was fired, laid off. That's the word. He did end up being laid off from that position, but him being the guy that he is, he still worked. He still found a way to put food on the table and make some money, and he was frugal with the money that he had made before and saved a good portion of it and was doing well. These two are Christians. This guy is a Christian. The other piece of information that you need to know as well is that his first marriage ended in divorce as well. So suffice it to say, I see this guy last week and he is in tears. And I couldn't believe it. I was beside myself. What does one say when one approaches them completely in tears? And he proceeds to let me know that his wife is leaving and picking packing up her shit and going to this new area. And essentially, either he follows her like a puppy dog or they get divorced. In other words, him saying, no, you're not going there, you're staying here with me, is not an option. Him having any say so at all towards her is completely null and void. Okay, she is fucking gone. She's packing her shit and she's going. There is no there is no what are you talking about? No, that's not going to work. You're staying right here. You're staying put right here. That was not going to happen. And it was absolutely brutal to hear this guy crying, and his whole life was completely shattered. I had no idea what to say to him because for me personally, I had already foreseen this, knowing what I knew. And I didn't want to be right. I didn't want to be correct. But, I told this guy, I gave him a big hug, told him that I was there for him if he wanted to vent. But I had already shared with him my mindset and my worldview, especially towards intersexual dynamics. So I had already done that. And if he wasn't going to listen to me then, he wasn't going to listen to me now. And I mean, I had zero qualms about sharing my mindset with regards to that with him early in our friendship. So what does one say? There's not really much one can say, because especially if you already have shared your legitimate advice and thoughts on that particular matter. But it did make me think. So, like I said, this guy's world was completely devastated, completely shattered. And it made me think, this is a guy who works hard, has always found a way to earn money and put food on the table. He's a really good guy, really nice guy, really loyal guy, almost loyal to a fault. Family guy, a good dad, good family, supportive, there for you. At one time, had a really, really successful career in IT. And again, I mentioned him being Christian. Now, he is Protestant, and I am not. And this is partly why, because of stories like this, because the Protestant church has essentially turned into uh, the modern Christian. The Protestant church has essentially turned into modernity, but just with Christ there, a little bit. They have encapsulated almost all modern ideals and mindsets and worldviews and incorporated that into their church. And that includes having women placed in far higher positions of leadership than they should, and basically not attending to men's needs at all. Zero, zilch, nada. And quite frankly, being okay with divorce. That was one thing when I was a Protestant that I saw left, right, and center, is the how I looked out into the world and saw all the divorces, and then I'm looking at my church and it's the same amount. It's like the same percentage. Now, again, that's anecdotal, but I'm sure I could find the evidence for that. But it was essentially the same. So, but nonetheless, this guy is a Christian and his second wife is a Christian. And I remember this guy always like bragging to me about how his wife sings in the choir, and she apparently has a really good voice, and he would always brag about that. So they were both Christians. Okay. This is not a woman who is in her prime. I guarantee she, not only is she not in her prime, I've never seen a picture of her. I've never seen her personally. I only know this guy. Okay. So it is probably important to note that as well, for what it's worth. I can only speak about what I know about him and what he has told me. And there is always two sides to every story. But she's not in her prime age wise, and I guarantee she's definitely not in her prime physically. And I would be stunned if this was not the case. That not only is she not in her prime, but I'm sure she's not even like in good shape, quote unquote, for a woman of her age either. But not, you take all of that and you take the fact that she's a Christian woman, and I'm thinking to myself, how fucking crazy is it that she is damn near towards the end of her life? She's in the last years of her life. She's on the back end of her life. Back end of your life. You in the back end of your life. And she has the gall, the confidence to just fucking pack up her shit and bounce. And really, what it displays is a woman that has zero respect for the man that she is with, that he will do what anything and everything to make her happy in the version that he thinks will make her happy. And when I say that, I mean doing everything that she verbally says that she wants, which is, of course, categorically a mistake, because one of the main rules of red pill intersexual dynamics is to not listen to what women say, but to watch what they do. And instinctually, as men, especially if you're in your masculine, you know what women find attractive, and you know what they truly like through your experience, through your God-given and masculine instincts. But men have been told this lie, especially boomers, as this guy is. He's probably in his early 60s, have been told this lie of happy wife, happy life. And I remember I fucking heard him say that. And I said, I remember I told him, man, I hate that saying. That is such a stupid saying. Because it is. I fucking hate when I hear guys say that. It's the dumbest fucking thing in the world. You would never hear a woman caught dead saying that. Happy husband, happy life. You would never hear that. So, but you just take all of this, and like I said, I'm not surprised. That's the type of mindset that he has, and she doesn't respect him. She doesn't find him attractive because he is weak towards her. This is categorically a shit test. A masculine man would go, okay, you're bouncing without any consultation from me or approval from me. Okay, here's your shit. Let me pack it for you. And I'm gonna get back out there. I'm gonna get me some good. I ain't gonna fret on this. I'm gonna get me some good. You go ahead and take your ass. Get on, go on, get out of here. But she doesn't respect him. And that's why she felt the gall to do that. But this also illustrates, and we see this all the time, the lie that not only men are taught as far as the happy wife, happy life bullshit, but the lie that modern women are taught of this uh, finding happiness at all costs, or what they perceive as happiness from what they see on television. And you go, girl, you go find you go do you. You be a bad bitch. Go do you. Go on, girl, with your bad self. And at all costs, no matter who it hurts, no matter who it devastates, it doesn't matter, because the number one priority is your happiness, girl. That's the number one priority. Your happiness. Your happiness. And that's what it illustrates. So this is a completely tragic tale. The one thing that I have not changed my mind on since becoming an Orthodox Christian, to the dismay of my Orthodox friends, is really how I view marriage, because everywhere I turn, I see evidence that continues to affirm what I already believe. And the only argument that I have gotten from that I've heard from my Orthodox friends or ortho bros on the YouTube sphere is that you as a man should try to be the change that you want to see in the world. And a secondary argument, this is kind of attached and associated with the first argument, is if you are in your masculine as a man and you truly are being the man that you're supposed to be in your fullness of masculinity, a woman would never consider leaving you. Now, I get both arguments and I agree with both arguments, especially the first one to a high degree. The second one, I would say I agree with like 70%, with the 30% of, well, but bitches still be wilding. And these tricks out here are still at all costs searching for their happiness and putting their happiness above any and everything. So it's too bad. I was devastated when I heard this. This guy's whole world has completely crumbled. It's completely shattered. And it's like, if a guy like that cannot have one successful marriage, what are the chances that other average to slightly above average guys are gonna what chances do they have? It's only getting worse. It's not getting better. And of course, I know there's things that are differences, like, are you Orthodox? Are you Catholic? Are you Protestant? Are you atheist? I know that there's all these different variables that definitely play a role. Are you a feminist? Are you extremely westernized or Western minded? Um, there's tons of variables. I do acknowledge that. And I will say that another, not argument for marriage per se, but an argument against what is that overall a big part of the red pill, which I'm not saying I fully describe or ascribe to the red pill per se, as much as just in general I'm a truth pursuer. But a part, a common theme or talking point or tenet or whatever the fuck you want to call it of the red pill is knowing these truths so that you can sift through and choose women better and pick better women, because so many guys are such pussies and have no idea because they haven't had much practice, unlike women who have had all the practice in the world with the opposite sex since they were this tall. Is, sorry guys, drooled a little bit on myself. Fucking went to go have some mac and cheese when I paused it, and what can I say, I was still tasting that savory. But is and that's true. I mean, you should either A, if you can't have the experience part, you should try to make yourself knowledgeable enough so that you can decipher through good and bad women. And so, yes, some of the onus is on men to stop being fucking pussies and stop being so dumb and take ownership of the women that they choose. Because so many men out here are just like, oh, thank you, you like me, oh. And they, and it's embarrassing. And they totally become different men when just one average to below average chick looks their way. Okay. And I know that's easier said than done. I do, but come on. So that's also true. But I don't know, guys. I that is the one thing that I'm still struggling with as an Orthodox Christian, and a lot of my Orthodox friends continue to tell me that, well, this is not really the case in the Orthodox Church, and if you find an Orthodox woman and this and that, and I would like to believe that it's true. I'm just not sure that it is, and that, but that's my burden to bear. But I did want to shed light on this story because I do think that it illustrates the the really tough road that modern men are on, and the sadness of the world that they currently live in, especially if you're just an average Western man. Your life is going to be extremely tumultuous and tough. And this is a guy who did everything right, went to school, was a good dad, was a good son, was a good employee or whatever the fuck, and still can't even hold on to a marriage. So, anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think of this anecdotal, tragic story. I really debated whether to share it or not because it's not my story, but you guys don't know who this is. So, and of course, I didn't say his name, but the concept and the thing is that I if I wanted to, I could search online and find five stories like this. But because I personally know this person, it hits hard. It hits different, y'all. It hits different. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section about this. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You guys know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a puss willow on facts or feelings because your feelings just don't matter. Love you, King. See you guys next time. Christ is King. Peace.